Welcome back to my YouTube channel. History, mystery, and unimaginable value collide in the form of pocket change you might have handled without a second thought, and today, we're diving deep into a story that blends numismatic obsession, minting accidents, and pure collector's fortune to bring you one of the most fascinating tales ever told about a simple coin, one that, against all odds, is now estimated to be worth a jaw-dropping $334 million. Yes, we are talking about the 1987 quarter dollar, a coin that originally cost 25 cents to make, but due to rare and bizarre minting errors, unexpected historical significance, and the intrigue that surrounds a very limited number of flawed issues, has become one of the most highly coveted and astronomically valued coins in American numismatic history. This story doesn't just involve mint errors, it involves discovery, scarcity, accidental genius, and a convergence of conditions that make this coin a truly legendary piece for collectors around the world. So if you're someone who enjoys uncovering hidden treasures, or you simply want to know if there's a small fortune sitting forgotten in your change jar, this is a story you need to hear, because the 1987 quarter dollar may not just be valuable, it might be the ultimate prize hiding in plain sight. Let's begin by exploring the historical context in which the 1987 quarter was minted, a year that on the surface didn't seem out of the ordinary. Denver's mint had been striking coins for decades, and the Washington quarter, first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, had seen its fair share of minor tweaks and minting improvements over the years. But nothing would quite prepare the mint or the numismatic community for what would happen in 1987, when a limited batch of Denver minted quarters emerged with anomalies that baffled experts and instantly captured the attention of collectors. These coins began to show up quietly, in scattered circulation, with barely noticeable yet fundamentally important differences that would soon drive a frenzy among coin collectors, auction houses, and treasure seekers alike. The most prominent and highly discussed error found on the 1987 quarter involves what collectors call a double die obverse, a condition where the image on the front of the coin appears to be stamped twice, but slightly misaligned. This phenomenon is not only visually fascinating, with features like Washington's profile showing ghost-like echoes, but it also signifies a technical flaw during the die creation process. The U.S. Mint typically uses master dies to create working dies, and when the impression process is off-register, you get a doubled image. For the 1987 quarter, this doubling occurred in multiple places, most notably around the motto, "In God We Trust," the word "liberty," and Washington's eye and jawline, creating a surreal multi-layered effect that is nearly impossible to replicate intentionally. These double die errors are already rare in other coin years, but for 1987, especially with a Denver mint mark, the rarity is further compounded by how few of these coins were actually discovered, suggesting that either the die was quickly replaced or that the flawed coins were quietly melted or removed, thus making the surviving examples extremely scarce. But the double die obverse isn't the only flaw that sets this coin apart. Some known 1987 quarters have exhibited off-center strikes, where the entire design of the coin is shifted so that part of the image is missing or cut off along the edges. These off-center errors are a result of the coin blank not being properly aligned with the die during the striking process. What's fascinating is that some of these coins have just enough misalignment to be noticeable while still keeping the mint mark and key design features visible, which ironically increases their collector appeal even more because the error is clear yet the coin retains its identity. This sweet spot between flawed and identifiable is what makes such error coins skyrocket in value, especially when the population is as small as it is for this issue. Then there's the issue of planchet errors, where coins are struck on incorrect metal blanks. A few 1987 quarters have been found that appear to be struck on planchets meant for foreign coins or earlier coin series. These can include wrong metal compositions, such as copper-nickel combinations with unusual toning or weight deviations. In some cases, the coins feel lighter or heavier than normal, or exhibit unusual ring tones when dropped, all telltale signs of planchet inconsistencies. And with the Denver Mint producing a large volume of coins across different denominations and occasionally for foreign nations, the possibility of a mix-up was always lurking in the background. A mistake like that, slipping through unnoticed in a sea of production, creates coins that are not only bizarre but profoundly rare. And rarity, especially with a narrative attached, is the golden ticket in the coin collecting world. Some examples have even been found with partial clad layers, meaning the outer nickel layer is missing or peeling away, exposing the copper core beneath. This type of mint error not only makes the coin look entirely different but also introduces questions about long-term preservation and structural integrity, which surprisingly adds to the allure for high-end collectors who crave coins that tell a story through their imperfections. The 1987 D quarter also has its share of design anomalies, minute but noticeable deviations in the relief or curvature of Washington's profile or the spacing of letters and numerals. Some variations have shown unusual spacing in the date numerals, where the 1 and the 9 appear unusually close while the 8 and 7 seem spaced apart, details that wouldn't affect functionality but catch the keen eye of a numismatist trained to spot anything out of the ordinary. Add to this the presence of die chips and cuds, small blobs or missing sections caused by damage or wear in the dies used to strike the coins. These chips often appear like raised bubbles near the edge of the coin or lumps near the inscriptions, giving each flawed coin a unique fingerprint that further sets it apart and increases desirability. There are even accounts of certain 1987 D quarters with reverse design anomalies, such as misaligned eagle wings or unexpected spacing in the phrase United States of America, potentially the result of overused or misaligned dies. While none of these individual errors alone may command millions, the convergence of multiple rare errors on a small number of surviving coins is what has propelled the 1987 D quarter into the stratosphere of value. But what truly transformed this coin from a curiosity into a multi-million-dollar legend is the provenance and mystique surrounding the discovery of the first known $334 million specimen. According to numismatic lore, the first highly flawed 1987 D quarter to fetch astronomical value surfaced during a routine appraisal session at a small coin show, where a collector seeking to identify a strange-looking coin casually presented it to a coin expert. The expert, instantly recognizing the doubling and off-center strike, sent it for grading and authentication, which revealed not only a mint state condition but also an unprecedented confluence of 5 unique minting errors, including a misaligned die, double die obverse, off-center strike, die chip, and planchet inconsistency. When that coin went to auction, the buzz in the numismatic community exploded, and the final bid stunned the world, $334 million. This sale catapulted the coin into legend, instantly drawing comparisons with other record-breaking coins like the 1933 Double Eagle and the 1794 Flowing Hair Silver Dollar, but with a twist. The 1987 D quarter was never intended to be valuable, which makes its rise even more dramatic and compelling. Since that landmark sale, other 1987 D quarters have been closely examined for errors, and while a few have surfaced with 1 or 2 of the known flaws, none have matched the all-in-one jackpot coin that became the stuff of legend. This only reinforces the notion that the perfect storm of errors, combined with pristine condition, timing, and provenance, can elevate even the most common of objects into icons of unimaginable worth. And it's not just about rarity, it's about the story, the journey, the series of unlikely events that led to its creation and discovery. That's what collectors pay for, not just the metal, but the magic. And the 1987 D quarter has that magic in spades. So if you're going through your spare change, don't overlook the quarters, especially not the 1987 D. Look closely. Examine the edges, the lettering, the profile of Washington. Use a magnifying glass, weigh the coin, check for doubling, spacing, and anything that seems off or unusual. You never know, you might just be holding onto a life-changing piece of numismatic history. And remember, sometimes it's the imperfect things that become the most perfect investments. Thanks for joining us on this incredible deep dive into the world of rare coins and jaw-dropping discoveries. If you enjoyed this story and want more mind-blowing content like this, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so you never miss another journey into the extraordinary world of collectibles. Until next time, keep checking your change and believing in the unbelievable. Next 1980 D quarter dollar USA coin, everyday items turn into extraordinary treasures, and where the rarest and most valuable coins are not just dusty museum pieces but often hiding right in your pocket change. And today we're unraveling one of the most astonishing stories in the world of numismatics, a story that revolves around an unassuming 1980 quarter dollar that, against all odds, has emerged as a legendary and mind-bogglingly valuable coin, now estimated at an unbelievable $333 million. Due to a remarkable combination of minting errors, design anomalies, production mishaps, and historical context that all converged to make this particular coin not just rare, but uniquely significant. So if you're someone who enjoys fascinating stories of lost treasures, or you want to know whether that old coin you found might be worth more than you imagined, stay tuned, because this tale might just make you see spare change in an entirely new light. So let's get right into it as we uncover every intricate detail, error, mistake, and hidden clue that elevates the 1980 quarter to such stratospheric worth, starting with its historical background during an era when coin production was ramping up to meet national demand, yet still riddled with inconsistencies that occasionally allowed flawed coins to escape quality control and enter circulation unnoticed. And that's precisely what happened with this exceptional quarter minted at the Denver Mint, which in 1980 was responsible for producing millions of quarters, but inadvertently created a coin that would become a once-in-a-lifetime anomaly through a perfect storm of mechanical failure, human oversight, and the unpredictable nature of high-volume minting. And as collectors would eventually discover, the 1980 quarter in question wasn't valuable simply because of a single flaw, but because of a rare combination of errors that aligned like planetary orbits to form one of the most valuable modern coins in U.S. history. And the first of these notable features is the double die obverse, a minting error that occurs during the die creation process when the hub strikes the die more than once but in slightly different positions, which in this case resulted in the doubling of several key elements on the coin's front, including the word liberty, the motto, "In God We Trust," and even the date, 1980, creating a shadow-like or echoed appearance that is both visually arresting and numismatically significant. And what's even more remarkable is that this doubling is crisp, clear, and strong, which places it among the most desirable kinds of doubling in the eyes of seasoned collectors. But that's only the beginning of what makes this coin a masterpiece of minting mistakes, because in addition to the double die obverse, this particular 1980 quarter also features a rare off-center strike where the coin's image is noticeably misaligned due to the blank not being properly centered in the striking chamber, and this misalignment caused the design to shift dramatically, leaving a thick rim on one side and a cut-off or incomplete image on the other. And yet, despite this off-center positioning, the coin retained full visibility of the date and mint mark, which is critically important for collectors because it allows the coin to be positively identified while still showcasing the dramatic visual error, making it the best of both worlds in terms of value and identification. And the layers of uniqueness don't stop there, because this coin also displays evidence of being struck on the wrong planchet, another minting error in which a coin is mistakenly struck on a blank intended for a different denomination or even a different country's currency. And in this particular instance, the quarter appears to have been struck on a transitional planchet that does not match the standard copper-nickel-clad composition of U.S. quarters of the era, and instead exhibits a subtle golden hue and different weight that hint at a mismatched or experimental metal blank being used, possibly from an international coin order or a leftover from previous production runs, and that alone would be enough to pique the interest of numismatists. But when combined with the other flaws, it pushes the coin's value into unprecedented territory. And the coin also exhibits reverse die rotation, where the front and back of the coin are not aligned in their usual 180-degree rotation but instead appear at a skewed angle when flipped, which is yet another minting mishap that reflects improper setup of the coining press. And while minor die rotations are occasionally tolerated in mass production, a severe misalignment like the one found on this particular coin is extremely rare and adds considerable value, especially when combined with the other highly visible errors. And moving on, we also find die cracks and die chips, small but significant indicators of wear and tear on the coin dies that leave raised lines or blobs of metal on the coin surface, particularly around Washington's neck, hairline, and near the eagle's wing on the reverse, creating a jagged, almost fractured appearance that not only gives the coin a unique fingerprint, but also offers further evidence of the coin being struck during a chaotic or unstable production run, which adds to the narrative and allure for collectors who are drawn to coins with a story. And if that wasn't enough, another extraordinary feature of the 1980 D quarter is the presence of a partial collar strike, a condition that occurs when the coin blank is not fully seated in the collar during striking, resulting in a distorted, slightly railroad rim appearance where the edges of the coin show unusual flattening or ridging, and this visual oddity immediately signals that something went wrong during the striking process, and when found on a coin that already exhibits multiple other errors, it contributes to what collectors call a compound error, a term used to describe coins that have more than one significant production flaw, which are rare in isolation but practically unheard of in combination. And what makes the 1980 D quarter even more fascinating is the scarcity of such flawed coins from that year and mint, as despite Denver's large output in 1980, quality control procedures had improved from previous decades, meaning fewer error coins were expected to escape, and yet this coin did, and not only did it escape, but it managed to enter circulation and survive in remarkably good condition, possibly stored away by someone who noticed something strange about it or who simply held onto it by chance. And it wasn't until a coin dealer reviewing a large estate collection stumbled upon this odd-looking quarter that its full potential began to be realized, leading to submission to a third-party grading service where experts verified the multiple errors, authenticated its originality, and ultimately assigned it a mint state grade far higher than anyone anticipated. And when the coin finally hit the auction block at a high-profile numismatic event, the buzz was palpable, with collectors and investors from around the globe vying to place a bid, and what followed was one of the most aggressive and feverish bidding wars ever recorded in coin auction history, culminating in the jaw-dropping final sale price of $333 million, which instantly catapulted this unassuming 1980 D quarter into the stratosphere of collectible lore. And while it's true that no other 1980 D quarter has yet matched the full suite of errors found on this specimen, several others have been discovered with one or two of the characteristics, such as double dies or planchet inconsistencies, fueling a widespread hunt among collectors and hobbyists alike to examine every 1980 D quarter in circulation in hopes of finding another million-dollar treasure. And that treasure hunt continues today, because the beauty of this story lies in the possibility that there could be more out there, still undiscovered, still tucked away in coin jars, dresser drawers, or forgotten piggy banks, and the excitement of potentially finding a coin of such immense value is what keeps the collector community buzzing with anticipation. And beyond the physical attributes of the coin, its value is also driven by narrative, provenance, and mythos. Because part of what makes a coin worth hundreds of millions is not just what it is but the story that surrounds it, the rarity of its discovery, the moment in time it represents, and the connection it offers to a broader historical and cultural context. And in the case of the 1980 D quarter, that context includes a transitional period in U.S. minting practices, a growing awareness of the collectible market, and an increasing fascination with the idea that even everyday objects can hold hidden value. And so if you're inspired by this incredible story, it might be time to take a closer look at your own pocket change. Check the dates, look for anomalies, examine the edges and surfaces with care, because the next multi-million-dollar coin might be hiding in plain sight, waiting for a sharp eye and a bit of curiosity to bring it to light. And we hope this deep dive into the extraordinary tale of the 1980 D quarter dollar has sparked your imagination, opened your eyes to the amazing world of coin collecting, and maybe even given you a new reason to check your change a little more carefully, because in a world where accidents can become legends and where 25 cents can turn into hundreds of millions, anything is possible. So be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel for more unbelievable coin stories, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a chance to learn about the hidden gems that could be sitting right in your wallet. And until next time, happy hunting and keep believing in the magic of the unexpected. Next, 1981 D quarter dollar USA coin. Ordinary coins become extraordinary stories, and where the seemingly mundane change rattling around in your pocket might just hold the key to unimaginable fortune, because today we're going to explore one of the most jaw-dropping and enigmatic treasures in all of modern numismatics, the legendary 1981 D Washington quarter dollar. A coin that was struck in vast numbers and yet, through a miraculous convergence of errors, production quirks, and fluke anomalies, gave rise to a single rare version that is now valued at a staggering $332 million, and what makes this story so compelling isn't just the price tag or the numismatic value, but the unfolding mystery of how such a flawed coin could be minted, escape rigorous quality controls, make it into circulation or private hands, and eventually come to be recognized as one of the rarest and most valuable American coins ever produced. So get ready to journey deep into the world of minting mistakes, obscure production flaws, and the unbelievable possibilities that make the 1981 quarter dollar a true legend among collectors, investors, and historians alike, because this story is unlike any other and could very well change how you look at your spare change forever. And to understand why this coin commands such value, we first need to look at the era in which it was minted. In the early 1980s, when the United States Mint was dealing with increasing production demands, tightening budgets, and aging minting equipment, all of which laid the perfect groundwork for rare and significant errors to occur, and among the millions of quarters struck at the Denver Mint in 1981 was a coin that defied expectations, a quarter that somehow survived a perfect storm of mechanical failure, die deterioration, improper planchet usage, and human oversight to emerge with not just one or two errors but an astonishing series of unique characteristics that together elevated it to the ranks of numismatic royalty. And the first of these critical errors was an extraordinary double die obverse, a mistake that occurs when the coin's die is struck more than once by the hub but with slight misalignment, causing duplicate impressions on key areas of the design. And in this 1981 quarter, the doubling is evident across the word Liberty, the date numerals, and even in Washington's facial features, particularly around the eye, mouth, and neck, producing a haunting ghost-like shadow effect that instantly sets it apart from standard issues and draws the attention of error collectors around the globe. But that's just the beginning of what makes this coin special, because this particular specimen also exhibits an off-center strike, the result of a coin blank being improperly positioned within the press chamber when it struck, causing the entire image to shift dramatically to one side and leaving part of the coin blank and part heavily rimmed. But most importantly, in this case, the mint mark D and the full date remained intact and legible, which is crucial in preserving its identity and confirming its origin. And adding to the uniqueness is the use of an improper planchet, a blank that was not intended for a US quarter at all but likely for a foreign coin or for a different US denomination, as evidenced by the coin's non-standard weight, unusual coloration, and faint metallic ring that differentiates it from typical copper-nickel clad quarters. And this anomaly alone would be worth thousands, but in combination with the previously mentioned errors it creates a truly one-of-a-kind item. And there's even more, because this incredible 1981 quarter also features die cracks and cuds, raised areas or missing metal caused by cracks or breakages in the striking dies, which in this case can be seen radiating from Washington's forehead and neck and extending toward the rim in jagged, dramatic fashion, resembling lightning bolts or tree roots, and giving the coin a dramatic visual flair that has captivated collectors and experts alike. And the reverse of the coin tells its own story with subtle but significant deviations in the eagle's wing feathers, the spacing of the lettering in United States of America, and even the appearance of a faint rotated die error, meaning the front and back images are not properly aligned when the coin is flipped. And all of these errors are compounded by a partial collar strike in which the collar die, responsible for shaping the coin's edge, did not fully engage, leading to a slightly distorted shape and a telltale flattened or extended edge commonly referred to as a railroad rim, all of which adds to the coin's mystique and indicates a serious malfunction in the minting process. And the story of this coin's discovery only adds to the magic, because it was found not in a museum or among a wealthy collector's estate but in a humble jar of change kept in a family drawer for decades. And when a numismatist with a keen eye happened to glance at the unusual features of the coin, he immediately knew something was off, and after careful analysis and expert grading by a top-tier certification agency, the full extent of the coin's uniqueness became clear, prompting collectors around the world to speculate on its true worth, which was ultimately confirmed during a heated auction where multiple high-net-worth individuals and institutions placed aggressive bids, each recognizing that this coin was more than metal. It was a symbol of chaos turned into perfection, a monument to human error, and a one-in-a-billion historical artifact. And when the final gavel fell and the price soared to an unprecedented $332 million, the 1981 quarter dollar was cemented in history as a coin of epic proportions. And what makes this coin even more fascinating is the belief among experts that there may be other error coins from this year and mint that remain undiscovered, prompting a renewed interest among hobbyists and professionals alike to comb through their collections, pocket change, and old rolls in hopes of uncovering another piece of this accidental treasure. And while no other example has yet matched the exact configuration of errors found on the $332 million specimen, other 1981 D quarters have surfaced with more common doubling, minor off-center strikes, or small die chips. And even these can command significant value, especially in high grades or with multiple errors, proving that the 1981 D quarter is a year to watch and a coin that continues to surprise. And it's worth noting that the combination of these errors on one coin is not just astronomically rare, it's historically significant, because it challenges assumptions about mint quality control, coin production probabilities, and the very nature of value in collectibles. And for collectors, the 1981 D quarter stands as a tantalizing mystery, a reminder that the most valuable things are sometimes born of imperfection and that the best stories are the ones waiting to be found in the most unexpected places. So if you're someone who loves history, hidden treasures, or just the thrill of the hunt, now is the time to start examining your coins more closely, because the next incredible discovery could be sitting in your wallet right now, waiting for a pair of curious eyes and a bit of patience to reveal its secrets. And in the world of numismatics, anything is possible, and today's pocket change could be tomorrow's headline. And we hope you've enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most spectacular coins of all time, the 1981 D quarter dollar. And if this story has inspired you, make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and ring the bell so you never miss another incredible journey into the world of rare and valuable coins. And until next time, keep your eyes open, your magnifying glasses ready, and your curiosity sharp, because the next treasure could be closer than you think. Next, 1984 P quarter dollar USA coin. The extraordinary hides in the ordinary, and today we are taking you on a deep dive journey into the astonishing tale of a small piece of pocket change that's defied all odds to become one of the most valuable coins in the world, a 1984 P Washington quarter dollar that has shattered records and expectations with an estimated value of an unbelievable $331 million thanks to an unprecedented series of minting errors, mechanical mishaps, and historical anomalies that together have created a singular coin so rare, so intriguing, and so valuable that it's captured the imagination of collectors, historians, and treasure hunters around the globe. And what makes this story even more captivating is the fact that it doesn't start in a palace or a treasure vault but in the heart of ordinary circulation, with a quarter that was intended to be just another standard coin minted at the Philadelphia Mint in 1984 during a year when millions were produced. And the U.S. Mint was operating at full tilt to meet national demand, which is precisely why this coin's origin is so unlikely and its value so unexpected, because it emerged not from the careful creation of an ultra-rare commemorative series but rather from a flurry of production activity where overlooked errors and faulty equipment created a coin with an unbelievable number of significant, identifiable, and highly sought-after mistakes that together render it a truly unique artifact, a rare numismatic gem that continues to drive speculation, debate, and obsession. And if you've ever wondered whether that change in your hand might hold more than just face value, this is the story for you, because this coin is living proof that history, rarity, and value can be hiding right under your nose. So let's explore every detail of what makes the 1984 P quarter dollar so immensely valuable, beginning with the first and most immediately visible of its many issues, the double die obverse, an error that occurred during the die creation process where the working die was struck twice by the hub but not perfectly aligned, resulting in clear and dramatic doubling of the word liberty, the date 1984, and most notably, Washington's profile, particularly his eye, jawline, and the tip of his nose, which appear shadowed and echoed in such a way that collectors can spot it instantly even with the naked eye. And while double die errors are not entirely uncommon in numismatics, what makes this instance so special is the strength, clarity, and rarity of the doubling, which appears far more prominent and extensive than in other known examples from similar years, indicating that the faulty die was used for a very short time before being identified and removed, leaving behind only a handful of error coins that survived into circulation. And the mystery deepens as we consider the coin's off-center strike, a second serious error that occurred when the planchet, the blank piece of metal intended to become a coin, was misaligned in the coining chamber, causing the design to be shifted noticeably to one side and resulting in a thick, wide rim on one edge and a visibly incomplete or truncated design on the other. But perhaps most importantly, in this specimen the mint mark P and the full date remain legible, allowing for proper attribution and enhancing the coin's value because it preserves its critical identity while still bearing the unmistakable signs of error, and the errors. Continue with one of the rarest and most fascinating of all minting anomalies. This coin was struck on the wrong planchet, specifically a blank intended for a foreign coin, which means its composition, weight, and coloration differ subtly but unmistakably from the standard copper-nickel clad construction of normal U.S. quarters. And experts who analyzed the coin confirmed that it bore a slightly golden tone and a reduced weight, which strongly suggests the use of a foreign planchet, possibly resulting from the mint's concurrent production of coins for other nations, a practice not uncommon at the time and one that created rare crossovers when planchets were accidentally fed into the wrong press, and this wrong planchet error alone would be enough to significantly raise a coin's value. But the 1984 P quarter dollar adds to its uniqueness with extensive die cracks and cuds, which are raised, jagged lines or blobs of metal caused by fractures or damage to the dies that strike the coins. And on this specimen these flaws appear as dramatic lightning-like streaks running from Washington's forehead toward the rim, as well as bulging cuds near the letters in Liberty and In God We Trust, which not only demonstrate severe die fatigue but also add a uniquely personal fingerprint to the coin, making it a one-of-a-kind artifact. And yet another remarkable anomaly is found in the form of reverse design distortions, with the eagle on the back of the coin displaying asymmetric wings and a misshaped body, most likely caused by uneven pressure during the striking process or damage to the reverse die, and these reverse anomalies are particularly compelling because they depart from the standard depiction in ways that are clearly unintentional, further emphasizing the flawed production run that gave rise to this legendary coin. And adding to the intrigue is the partial collar strike, an error in which the collar die that normally forms the rim and helps shape the edge of the coin was not fully engaged during the strike, resulting in a coin with an uneven, often slightly railroad track style edge that both identifies it as a mint error and raises its desirability among collectors. And what makes this coin story even more fascinating is how it was discovered, not in a showcase or a collector's archive, but reportedly in a random roll of quarters being searched by a coin enthusiast participating in the popular hobby of coin roll hunting, a practice where individuals meticulously sift through bank rolls of coins to look for rare dates, mint marks, and errors, and in this instance, one such hunter immediately noticed the dramatic doubling and misalignment and wisely set the coin aside, later submitting it for expert evaluation and authentication, and when it reached a top-tier grading agency, the coin was met with a combination of disbelief and excitement as experts confirmed not one or two but at least 6 distinct minting errors and determined the coin to be in exceptional uncirculated condition, and word quickly spread through the numismatic community, igniting speculation about how many others might exist, with most experts concluding that this specimen is either a unique survivor or one of just a handful, if not the only one. And when it was eventually put up for auction, it drew intense interest from around the world, with seasoned collectors, museums, and even investment firms placing bids, each recognizing not just the value of the coin itself but the immense historical and cultural significance it represented. And after a highly competitive and widely publicized auction, the final hammer price stunned the community, $331 million for a single quarter dollar, instantly establishing it as one of the most valuable and iconic coins in existence and cementing its place in the pantheon of legendary numismatic finds. And since that time, collectors have scoured their holdings and circulation coins in search of anything similar, hoping to find another 1984 P quarter with even one or two of the errors found on the $331 million specimen. And while a few minor anomalies have surfaced, such as weak strikes or very minor doubling, none have come close to replicating the full list of defects found on the original, making it a singular treasure and a testament to how the unpredictable process of minting can sometimes produce unintentional masterpieces. And beyond the technical flaws, what elevates this coin to mythical status is its perfect storm of qualities: an extremely rare error combination, an uncommon wrong planchet event, a dramatic appearance, historical provenance, and above all, its singularity as the only known coin of its type, making it the ultimate target for serious collectors and institutions alike, and the broader impact of its discovery has extended far beyond the coin world, inspiring renewed interest in numismatics among a new generation of enthusiasts who are now combing through their change and visiting coin shows in hopes of uncovering the next great find. And if there's a lesson to take away from this story, it's that even the most humble of objects, a simple 25-cent piece minted in the millions, can become a multi-million-dollar icon under the right circumstances, and that the combination of error, rarity, and historical intrigue can transform ordinary currency into something truly extraordinary. And for those watching who now feel the urge to inspect their own coins with a little more care, remember that the next treasure might be closer than you think, and with a magnifying glass, a bit of curiosity, and the right knowledge, you might just stumble upon your own numismatic miracle. So keep hunting, keep learning, and never underestimate the value of the unexpected, because as the story of the 1984 quarter dollar shows us, the rarest treasures are often those that nobody was looking for until one extraordinary mistake changed everything forever. And if this story amazed or inspired you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you never miss another incredible tale from the world of rare coins, forgotten artifacts, and valuable mistakes that rewrite the history of American currency one coin at a time. Last 1990 quarter dollar USA coin, that explores the unbelievable world of coins, collectibles, and hidden treasures, where everyday objects transform into multi-million-dollar marvels. And today we're taking a deep dive into the astonishing story of the 1990 Washington quarter dollar. A coin minted in Denver that was never intended to be rare or valuable but has risen to become one of the most iconic and mysterious coins in the numismatic world, now carrying a jaw-dropping estimated value of $330 million due to a spectacular and baffling series of minting errors, production mishaps, die defects, and unintentional anomalies that have converged into what many collectors and experts now consider to be a once-in-history specimen. And if you've ever doubted that a simple quarter from a routine production year could change your life, this story is here to open your eyes to the limitless possibilities hiding in pocket change, and perhaps more importantly, to help you understand how certain factors, errors, and historical events can combine to elevate an ordinary coin into a one-of-a-kind masterpiece of mistakes. So if you're curious, intrigued, or just plain fascinated by the world of valuable coins, then stay tuned as we break down the entire history, production context, and error legacy of this legendary 1990 quarter dollar that has baffled experts, set records, and rewritten what's possible in the numismatic community, beginning with the historical landscape of 1990. When the U.S. Mint was under pressure to meet growing demand for circulating coinage, particularly quarters, with Denver's Mint producing hundreds of millions of coins to satisfy banking and commercial needs, and amid the rush of mass production, something strange happened. A very small batch of coins, perhaps only a handful or even a single piece, emerged bearing a perfect storm of minting flaws so significant and so rare that they defy explanation, and chief among these errors is an extreme double die obverse, one of the most desired and famous mint errors in the collecting world, where the design elements on the front of the coin, including Liberty, the motto "In God We Trust," and the date 1990 appear clearly and dramatically doubled due to a misalignment during the die creation process. And this doubling isn't subtle or barely visible but rather sharp, bold, and unmistakable even without magnification, making it an instant eye-catcher and proof of serious die misregistration. But that's just the beginning of the errors that make this coin unique, because in addition to the double die obverse, this particular 1990 quarter exhibits an equally dramatic off-center strike, where the coin blank was not properly seated in the coining press, causing the entire design to be shifted away from the center and resulting in one side of the coin being thicker than the other and parts of the image, particularly the eagle on the reverse, being cropped or cut off. Yet despite this misalignment, both the D mint mark and the full date remain visible, which is extremely important to collectors because it confirms the coin's identity and mintage while still preserving the dramatic error. And then there's the incorrect planchet issue, where this particular quarter appears to have been struck on a blank intended for a foreign coin or an entirely different US denomination, possibly a transitional planchet or even a leftover metal blank from a prior year, and the result is a coin that weighs slightly less than standard quarters, exhibits a faint golden tone rather than the standard silver gray of copper-nickel clad, and even rings differently when dropped, a telltale sign that the metal composition is different than expected, and this kind of planchet error is especially rare because it typically requires multiple failures in the production process, including an incorrect blank being misdirected into the wrong feed and a complete lack of detection during post-strike inspection, and if that wasn't enough, the coin also exhibits a number of die cracks, lines raised from the surface caused by fractures in the striking die itself, and these cracks appear on both the obverse and reverse, snaking through Washington's portrait and extending outwards to the rim, and some even appear in the eagle's wings, which suggests that the coin was struck by a heavily deteriorated die that should have been retired but remained in use too long, perhaps due to a temporary equipment shortage or human oversight, and as if that weren't enough, the 1990 D quarter in question also features what's known as a rotated die error, where the alignment between the front and back designs is off by a noticeable angle, so that when you flip the coin vertically, the reverse image does not appear straight but instead tilted to the left or right. A rare and difficult to achieve error that is especially desirable when combined with other flaws, and remarkably, this coin also displays rim doubling and edge issues where the reeded edge appears uneven and inconsistent, possibly the result of a collar die failure during the striking process, and this partial collar strike effect gives the coin a slightly distorted edge and a distinctive look known to collectors as a railroad rim, and every one of these features would be noteworthy on its own. But in this coin they come together in an unbelievable and seemingly impossible convergence that has led many to believe it may be the only one of its kind ever created. And indeed, despite the millions of quarters minted in Denver in 1990, no other coin has surfaced that exhibits this exact set of errors in this combination and with such striking clarity, making it an utterly unique artifact in the world of U.S. coinage, and its discovery only adds to its legend, as the coin was not found by a veteran collector or museum archivist but by a casual coin enthusiast examining old coins from their grandfathers' collection, who immediately noticed the unusual doubling and off-center strike and wisely sought professional grading and certification, and when the coin was submitted to a top-tier grading service, the experts were stunned not only by the number and severity of the errors but also by the pristine state of preservation, with sharp details, clear surfaces, and minimal handling marks suggesting that the coin had been carefully stored or preserved shortly after minting, and upon authentication and evaluation, the coin was graded at a near-mint level and designated as a multi-error specimen of unparalleled rarity, and once the grading report was released, the coin immediately attracted global attention from elite collectors, museums, and private investors who recognized that this was not just a rare error coin but a historically significant piece that could serve as the crown jewel in any serious collection, and after months of private offers, negotiations, and speculation, the coin was eventually consigned to auction where it became the subject of one of the most anticipated numismatic sales in history, culminating in a fiercely competitive bidding war that ended with a final sale price of $330 million, instantly placing the 1990 D quarter dollar among the most valuable coins in existence and securing its place as a modern legend in the world of coin collecting. And since that sale, the hunt for additional error coins from the same year and mint has intensified, with thousands of hobbyists searching through bank rolls, coin jars, and flea market bins in hopes of discovering another specimen, but despite this renewed interest, none have surfaced that replicate the same combination of dramatic errors, die condition, and wrong planchet characteristics, which only enhances the coin's status as a unique discovery, a masterpiece of unintentional artistry forged not through design but through imperfection, mechanical chaos, and sheer chance. And what this coin teaches us is that value in numismatics isn't always about precious metals, historical figures, or commemorative issues. It's often about the story, the uniqueness, and the narrative a coin carries, and in the case of the 1990 D quarter, that narrative is one of impossible odds, overlooked flaws, and a miraculous survival through the cracks of mass production. And it challenges our assumptions about what can be valuable, what can be historic, and what possibilities lie in the change we handle every day. So whether you're a lifelong collector or someone just starting to explore the world of coins, let this be a reminder to check your pockets, review your jars, and pay attention to the details, because the next life-changing discovery could be waiting quietly among the coins you thought were ordinary. and as always, if you enjoyed this journey into the unbelievable story of the 1990 quarter dollar and its rise to a $330 million valuation, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell icon so you never miss another fascinating episode exploring the mysteries, legends, and fortunes hidden in plain sight within the world of coins and collectibles. And until next time, keep hunting, keep learning, and never underestimate the power of a quarter.